Well, this month's Women in Leadership Honoree illustrates what can be achieved with volunteerism. Joelle Logue is chair of the advisory board of the Erie County Commission on the Status of Women. She's the secretary of the YWCA World Service Council and board member of Planned Parenthood Empire State Acts. And she is being honored this month by the Buffalo Niagara chapter of Women in Leadership. Congratulations and welcome, Joelle.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
My goodness, you're a busy lady. I
am. I'm actually working harder than when I worked.
I guess. So this is all volunteerism for you, but how did you get into all of this?
Well, I've always been an advocate for women's rights, but my intentional advocacy started when I joined the YWCA, and my life-changing moment was attending a world meeting in Brisbane, Australia, where I met 80 women from 80 different countries.
Really?
Doing incredible work some under very challenging conditions. So that led me to the YWCA, sending me to visit YWCAs throughout China.
Really?
Palestine, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and most recently Haiti. And these are countries you don't necessarily go to for vacation. So it was really, we saw some very difficult conditions. So that, you've heard the term, think globally, act locally. Mm-hmm. So I really did it that way. I got into the global movement to see how women were handling things, across the world. And then I came back here to see what needs to be here. And I was with a local YWCA Tonawanda. It's very, very predominantly targeted towards domestic violence. And in 2007, I had the opportunity to go to a world meeting in Nairobi and present a 90-minute workshop on domestic violence.
Really?
And the women in that, there were a lot of African women because it was in Africa. They were aghast to even think that there was domestic violence in the United States of America. It was just so unbelievable to them. So I came back here, and at the time, the Commission on the Status of Women had initiated the Break the Cycle Bike-a-thon, which was held, I think, for 5 years, and which was, about domestic violence. So I was representing my YWCA on that effort. And then we decided, what do we do with the funds raised from the Bike-a-thon? And we decided to do a memorial to honoring lives affected by domestic violence. And we have the tribute garden. I'm sure you're aware of it, in Isle Park. It is a beautiful space. It was designed by landscape architect Joy Keebler, and Sarah Fonzie has a metal forged arch that kind of represents a passageway to healing. We have stone walls all inscribed with names of supporters, victims.
It's amazing.
So that was unveiled that was opened in September of 2015. Now the commission is targeted more towards really working on legislation, working on collaborative impact with other women's groups under the Women's Action Committee to move the needle on laws that just are still so discriminatory here in the United States. We are still, as women, we are still not protected under the Constitution of the United States. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. So lately, the ERA and Cities for CEDA, which are two anti-discriminatory women's movement legislative pieces, are getting a lot of traction. And I think there's a lot of momentum with the Time's Up and the Me Too movement.
Yes.
And that momentum is going to keep moving, especially towards the anniversary of our right to vote in
Let me ask you this, Joelle. Would you say that these agencies are always in need of more good volunteers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can never have too many.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been interesting to hear how just things have changed under your watch, and I can see why you've gotten this honor. So continue to stay busy, Joelle. You're working on behalf of all of us. Congratulations. It's wonderful that you're being honored and you're being recognized for this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Joelle Logue, she's doing a great job. Congrats again. This month's Women in Leadership Honoree, and you've just heard why. Listen, if you'd like more information about this chapter and about this, by all means, just get in touch to Women in Leadership, New York State Women, Inc., the Buffalo Niagara chapter, which is all wrapped up in this website, bncwomeninc.org.